Port Charles is no stranger to heartbreak, betrayal, and jaw-dropping secrets, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could prepare fans for the earthquake about to hit. Natalia Rogers Ramirez, a woman who walked into town with more mystery than a Cassadine safe deposit box, leaves behind a suicide note so explosive it threatens to tear apart the very fabric of the Corinthos family. Buckle in, because what you're about to read will shake Port Charles and your loyalty to some beloved characters to its very core. The week begins in tragedy. Natalia's lifeless body is discovered in her sparsely furnished Harbor View Towers apartment. Sources say it's a scene drenched in sorrow, a single photograph on her nightstand, a partially packed suitcase, and a note addressed only to the one who must know. Sasha Gilmore is the first to stumble upon the tragedy. Sasha had grown close to Natalia in recent weeks, two women bound by shared trauma and a desire to start fresh. But when Sasha opens the door and sees the body, her scream echoes through the halls, drawing Brooklyn, Chase, and even Sonny himself to the scene. Initial suspicion falls everywhere. Was this truly suicide, or was Port Charles witnessing another carefully orchestrated accident? The autopsy confirms no foul play. Natalia overdosed on prescription painkillers, the same ones she'd been using since the injuries sustained during the recent warehouse explosion. Yet it's not Natalia's death itself that will turn Port Charles upside down. It's what she chose to leave behind. Wrapped in trembling hands and smudged with tears, Sasha reads Natalia's final words aloud. At first, the note sounds like the tragic confession of a woman crushed under the weight of guilt, regret, and lost love. But as Sasha's voice quivers over the words, it becomes clear this letter is far more than a goodbye. Natalia writes, "I know this will damn me in death, as I was damned in life. But the truth must live, even if I cannot. Sonny and Carly, you know what you did. You took my child. You stole her from me the moment she was born. And you made sure I'd never know her face." In a matter of seconds, the room goes from shock to horror. Chase looks to Sonny, whose face is ashen, and then to Carly, who stumbles back as if struck by an invisible blow. The baby Natalia speaks of is unknown to almost everyone, except, apparently, Sonny and Carly themselves. Investigators, family, and the press descend on Port Charles. What could Natalia possibly have meant? Sonny, the man so often painted as the conflicted anti-hero, and Carly, the fierce lioness of her family, could they truly have stolen a child? Flashbacks piece together the puzzle. Natalia was once deeply connected to the Corinthos family, not as a lover, but as something far more dangerous, a surrogate. Years ago, following Carly's devastating miscarriage, the couple quietly explored surrogacy. Desperate to keep it private, Sonny turned to the black market for discretion. Unbeknownst to many, Natalia, desperate for money to escape an abusive relationship, was chosen. Natalia carried the child, believing she'd be compensated, and allowed limited contact. But as the pregnancy progressed, she began to have second thoughts. She wanted to keep the baby. That, according to the letter, is when Sonny and Carly acted. When Natalia gave birth, she claims they cut her out completely. She woke up from an emergency C-section, heavily sedated, and was told her child had died. Meanwhile, Sonny and Carly brought the baby home, hiding the truth from even their closest family. If Natalia's note is true, the question becomes chilling. Who is this child? And do they even know who they truly are? The revelation detonates across Port Charles like dynamite. Carly swears it's a lie, a manipulation by a desperate woman. Sonny, usually so sure of himself, is less convincing. His eyes avoid everyone's. Michael Corinthos, Sonny and Carly's eldest, confronts them at the Metro Court restaurant, voice trembling. "Tell me right now, is there someone out there, my brother, my sister, living a lie because of you?" Jason Morgan, ever loyal, finds himself torn between disbelief and dawning horror. Could his best friend and the woman he once loved truly have stolen a child? Christina Corinthos Davis, already struggling with her place in Sonny's world, is rocked to her core. "If this is true, what kind of man are you?" she whispers. In the shadows, even Ava Jerome, never one to miss an opportunity, starts quietly digging, sensing leverage she can use against Sonny. If Natalia's child survived, they could be anyone. The rumor mill explodes. Speculation runs from familiar faces like Sasha herself, whose parentage has long been murky, to even Gio or even Michael, although timelines seem off. Spinelli, hired by Michael and Jason, digs into old hospital records. What he finds is shocking. The hospital record for Natalia's birth shows signs of tampering. The birth certificate is missing from official files. Someone erased the paper trail. Sonny and Carly lawyer up, but the walls keep closing in. A court order is filed to subpoena DNA from known Corinthos children, Michael, Christina, Jocelyn, and even Avery and Donna, to see if there's an unaccounted-for sibling. Cornered, Carly finally breaks under pressure. In a raw, tear-streaked moment with Jason, she whispers what really happened. "I didn't want to do it, Jason." But Sonny, he was terrified after what happened with Morgan. He thought fate was going to keep taking our children. When Natalia said she was keeping the baby, he lost it. He found someone to help us. Fake the baby's death and bring her home to us. I held that baby in my arms, Jason. I raised her for a little while. Jason, voice hoarse, asks the only question that matters. What happened to her? Carly sobs. She died, Jason. She really died. But for those months, she was ours. The timeline suggests this happened years ago, when Carly briefly left town, citing postpartum depression. In truth, she was grieving the child she'd stolen, and then truly lost. Natalia's note doesn't end with blame. It ends with heartbreak. She writes of years spent searching, begging for answers, only to be gaslit and threatened. Her career ruined, her relationship sabotaged. Natalia realized too late the power Sonny wielded. I became someone I didn't recognize. I hurt people who tried to love me. But every night, I saw her face, the face I never saw, haunting my dreams. In those final words, Port Charles finally sees Natalia not as a villain, but as a mother consumed by the love she was denied. In a shocking twist, some defend Sonny and Carly, arguing they only wanted to protect a child from a dangerous situation. Others, including Laura Collins and Anna Devane, see the moral horror of what they did. Nina Reeves, never one to shy away from a fight with Carly, vows to make her pay. Valentine Cassadine, always calculating, sees opportunity, control over Sonny in exchange for. Drew Kane, haunted by his own stolen years, rages at Carly. You took choice away from a mother and a child. That's something I will never forgive. As the note circulates, questions return. Why did Natalia choose now to confess? And why did she suddenly have the courage to write it? Jordan Ashford discovers someone visited Natalia hours before her death, Selena Wu. When questioned, Selena admits only to making an offer to buy Natalia's silence once more. But did Natalia refuse and pay the ultimate price? Or did Selena, or someone else, make sure the note would be found? Spinelli uncovers one final clue: hospital footage, old, grainy, but unmistakable. A nurse carries a bundled infant not to the morgue, but into the arms of a shadowed figure. That figure, with unmistakable posture and stance, Sonny. Where the child went next remains unknown. A lead points to Europe, a child placed with a family under a false name. The trail is cold, but Michael and Jason vow to follow it, no matter what they find. For the first time in years, Sonny Corinthos finds himself truly alone. Michael turns his back. Christina and Dante question everything. Even Jason struggles to see the man he once saw as a brother. Federal investigators, tipped off by Natalia's letter and the tampered records, open a case of kidnapping, fraud, and conspiracy. Sonny, cornered in his own living room, tells Carly, "We did what we had to do. But maybe we became the thing we were fighting." For the first time in years, Sonny Corinthos finds himself truly alone. Michael turns his back. Christina and Dante question everything. Even Jason struggles to see the man he once saw as a brother. Federal investigators, tipped off by Natalia's letter and the tampered records, open a case of kidnapping, fraud and conspiracy. Sonny, cornered in his own living room, tells Carly, "We did what we had to do. But maybe we became the thing we were fighting." As Port Charles reels, the story becomes more than just about Sonny and Carly's crime. It becomes a meditation on grief, love, and the monstrous things even good people can do when blinded by fear. Michael and Willow face what it means to be part of this family. Christina, shaken to her core, questions if she can ever truly love a father who could do this. Jocelyn fears she's inherited Carly's darkness. And out there, perhaps still alive, is a woman in her 20s, Natalia's lost child, who may yet learn the truth of who she is. Natalia's death is not just an ending, but the spark of a new story, one that could topple Port Charles's greatest power couple and reveal sins buried deeper than the harbor. As her funeral nears, residents gather in tearful silence. And on her casket, Sasha places a single rose and whispers, "You didn't deserve this. And I promise you, we'll find her." Spinelli and Jason trace the mysterious adoption trail to Prague. Michael delivers an ultimatum to Sonny, confess or lose your family forever. Carly faces arrest after a witness emerges who helped falsify the records. Ava uses what she knows to force Sonny's hand in a new business war. And a young woman overseas looks into a mirror, wondering why she's always felt something missing.